Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Hopefully everything's coming through nice and clear. I can see the gain is a bit high on this, so let's turn that down a bit. There we go. That should be a bit better and less punchy for everyone. Yeah, so hello and welcome to tonight's live stream. Tonight's live stream, we are returning to our Zombie 8 My Neighbours remake. And if you don't know what this is a project we've been working on during the live streams. And it's something that we only work on during live stream, so you see the full creation of the game as it is. So you get to see it all warts and all, so you get to see me solving problems, trying to replicate the gameplay from the SNES and Genesis classic. Yeah, before we get started though, I just want to point you towards a special thing. If you don't know, every Monday I release a new video on our Making Your First Game series. This Making Your First Game series is our first premium series, which means it's available on Skillshare. Now every week you'll get a new episode. However, if you want to watch all the episodes right now ahead of anyone else, you can either become a patron or you can sign up to Skillshare and get 2 months for free using the link below. So if you use the link below, you get 2 free months, and you can probably watch the whole series within those 2 months, and then just cancel your thing if you wish. Totally up to you. But check it out, there's a link below, click on that, and not only will you be supporting yourself, but also me too. So click on that link and you can get access to that series right away. I should also point out that later on this year you will get the second premium series, hopefully around about Easter time, but we'll see how it gets on as we start filming it. So that's to look out for later on in the year, and yeah, that's it for my little intro sales pitch. But yep, click on that link, very useful. And as I say, you can get to just do the 2 months and you can cancel if you wish. It's totally up to you. Okay, so on to actual tonight's topic. I have got chat open, so if you do have questions, please chuck it up. And what we're going to be looking at today is looking at, in particularly, the zombies and their death animations and the particle effects required for their death animations. So we are going to, let me try and get the video up. We're going to replicate this, hopefully this is coming through just fine. Replicate this gameplay part of the game, so you can see when you shoot or kill the zombies, they play this sprite animation, and we're going to try and replicate that in 3D using a particle effect. So I'm waiting for the video to actually kill a zombie. Let's rewind it back. I know you killed some before then. So you've got like a little explosion into flame, and then a skull drops down to the floor, leaving a little scorch mark on the ground. Okay, and I have looked at the sprite sheet for this, and it is literally just a little explosion and a skull. Again, trying to find, so you can see that effect. So we're going to try and replicate that using a particle system inside Unreal, and try and get a half decent looking effect. Okay. So we're going to go through an intro of how particle system works in this engine, and we're probably going to use the Cascade version of the particle system rather than the Niagara one. No, not much difference between the two in this regard, because we're not doing anything too fancy. We don't need anything from Niagara's sort of special skill set. We can get away with just using Cascade. And if you can get away with using just Cascade, I think that's better, because Cascade is a lot easier to use. Maybe not. It's a lot more user-friendly, I feel like. It's a lot quicker to get a result. But maybe that's if you get something so used to it. I've been using it for quite some time now. So we'll use the Cascade system to create this particle effect. Now, the first thing we'll work on is that explosion effect. So let's have a crack at trying to do that. So I'm going to go into my content browser and let's make a new, do I have a particle system folder? Nope, let's make a new folder and call this one particle systems. And we're going to create add new particle system. And we're going to call this zombie death underscore PS particle system. And this is the Cascade particle system. And what we have here, we have the viewport where you can see the preview of what the animation, what the particle system looks like. You have your emitters on the right here, and you have your details at the bottom left and the curve editor at the bottom right. The emitters have modules inside of them, and the modules define the properties of the particles coming out of the emitter. The emitter is what is emitting particles, okay? These are just spewing out particles, and these modules define what the particle's behavior is, okay? So we're going to start off with this fire effect. Now let's have a look back at our source footage. Let's see if I can get it on a screen pause on the actual death of a zombie. That's a bit out of shot, that one. Okay, let's just okay, get easy armor. Okay, we'll just see how it goes. So it starts off like a big ball of flame, and then it dissipates into smaller little flames. So let's just crack on and see how far we get. So this is going to be like a sort of burst rather than a stream. This is a stream. Okay, this is the default thing you get, it's a stream. So what we're going to be doing instead of a stream is a burst. So to change that, you change it on spawn module. We can change it from rate, first of all, down to 0. So it stops the spewing of it. And then go down to burst. And we're going to add a new burst element to our burst list. And we're going to burst, let's do, I don't know, 10. And you can see the burst coming out like so, like a shotgun blast. Like, okay. So on the burst list, you have a count. That's how many particles can be spewed out. Count low is the range. So if you do less than 0, it basically means it's going to use the fixed number of 10. But if I change that to say like 5, it will randomly choose a value between 5 and 10. Okay. Time is at what point during the particle system's lifespan do you want this to occur. So you can make delay particles coming out, so they don't have to all come out at once, which can become very handy when we spawn in our skull object. So we're going to do a burst, and we're going to change a few things to get the burst all around. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is go into our initial velocity, and we're going to change its velocity so it's 100 in the X and Y and Z, and 50. Not 50. Minus 100, minus 100, and minus 100. And you get this sort of star effect. Okay. Okay, so now we've got to actually put a particle on it. So for starters, we're just going to put on the default a basic one that comes with it. And we'll go into Photoshop in a moment and get our own one in a second. But for now, let's just work with this. So required is where you set up the material, and this would be the default settings for the particles and where they spawn and where they go. Next, we've got color over life. Now, color over life determines the color changing over the course of the lifespan of the particle. So if I expand all these open, you'll see this is a distribution vector constant curve, which basically means changing something over life. So on the 0, on the in value at 0, that means at the start of it, we're going to make it sort of red. And on the end of it, we're going to make it sort of yellowish. And you can see it changing over time. Okay. So I'm going to save that, and let's minimize that. So now we've got the basics out. Let's actually create some material that we actually want to use rather than using that default thing there. Kim is asking, what's the difference between burst and velocity? Velocity is the speed of which it goes. The burst is just defines the spawning of it. So if you turn velocity down to 0, the burst would mean they just pop up on the screen. Burst is like firing off all at once. Oh, that's my emails. Let's close that. Let's go and import a graphic that I think I've got that we can try using. So yes, I'm going to use this hex rounded graphic I've made before, and we're going to convert that into a material and open this up. And in this material, we are going to add in a few nodes to make it work with our particle system. So on the particle system, you have a input node called particle color. And this is the node that gives us the color definition of the particle. And we can multiply that with our texture sample here. So we'll take this node here and multiply it with the RGB values of our texture and plug that into the base color. Then we also want to do the opacity of this thing as well. So I'm going to change the hex rounded matte here to a translucent one. And we're going to change the alpha to be from this particle color here. So I'm going to multiply this with the color of our texture into opacity. Hit apply. And that's all we have to do to set up our material to use the particle color module. So in here, back on required, we're going to change this now to our hex rounded material. And let's see how this looks. So this might be quite big. We'll tweak the size of it in a second. Just wait for the shaders to compile. Okay, so you can see it working now. Okay. Okie dokie. So first of all, I think we need to increase the amount we're spawning in. Let's just see what the size is like first of all. It's not showing. Why is it not showing? It should show in your world. Oh, well, let's crack on and fix that later on. So let's change the count then to 50. Spawned a lot of them. We'll make it a slower velocity, so I'm going to change that from 100 and do that 50, 50, oh, 50, 50, minus 50, minus 50, minus 50. So this is just a range, so basically this makes it so it spawn all across it. Okay, you can see it happening there. Okay, so now we've got that, we can minimize this. Again, we should be able to drag this in. It should show it working. Let's drag it in at the start of the game here. Oh, I forgot we had this. Oh, there you go. So I think it needs to be a bit bigger. So let's change the size here to a much larger size. We'll go maximum of 100, 100, 100, and minimum size of 50, 50, 50. And hit save. Let's see how that looks. Might tell it to skip this bit. But there we go. Okay. Okay. Right. We're now going to go find the sprite sheet for the zombie. Okay. And, oh. So here it is. Okay, so we've got this flame effect going on. Okay. Okay. Right. So how am I going to do this? I need to create some shapes, don't I? Okay. We don't need Photoshop, so let's start a Photoshop. And what we could do, because you've got this effect with the different layers of colours all at the same time, we could use multiple channels here to do different things. So let's create a new thing, and we'll do 1024. Okay. So that's the best way about doing this. Okay. Well, one thing we will need to do is plug this into the emissive color by multiplying it first of all. Let's go by 5. Again, gotta wait for the shaders to compile. While we're doing that, let's make a shape back in our Photoshop. So in here, we're going to get a paintbrush, and we're just going to paint some white into it. So let's change the brush here to soft round. Let's go for a hard round brush. Okay. I'm not going to be too exact here. Oh, hello. I'm not going to be too exact here. It will be on the screen for only a little bit of time, so I don't need to be too crazy with it. Although that does look shit. Let's try that again. Let's actually do a shape. Okay. And then we'll use the brush. Again, I'm not worried about it being too exact. If I was doing it properly, I'd have a graphics tablet out, but can't be asked. Oh. Ignore that's just the baby monitor. Yes, okay. Alright, so with that done, I'm just going to create a black background here. Okay, and we'll see how this looks. It's kind of an experimentation when you're doing particles, especially when you're trying to translate a 2D game into 3D, because their sprite sheets obviously are locked down. You can do whatever you like with them. Ooh. Okay. Alright, let's bring that in. And bring in the flame tee. I wanted a shape that is look good when it's rotated and spinning. Okay, so there you can see the emissive map working. But let's go into the texture here and change that to the flame. Like so. Kim's asking, why do I connect the alpha of the particle color to the multiplier? So the alpha of the particle color is fading it in and out the whole entire thing, but I only wanted it to fade out I just want the white bit, and so when I multiply it by just the white bit, it will only apply to the white bit. The rest of it would then be plugged into opacity, and therefore we get rid of the black. That's how we get rid of the black part of the texture. Okay, so we do that, and leave as is. Okay. Yet again, we are back on compiling shaders. If you've just joined us while we're waiting, we are recreating Zombies Ate My Neighbours. This is part 7, I believe it is. It's a live stream event where we go into it and start creating our own version of a 3D version of that game. Also, if you like the Making My First Game series and you want to watch all of it right now, you can head over to Skillshare via the link in the description. Click on that link and sign up, and you get 2 free months, and you can watch the whole series in those 3 months quite easily. Okay, so we've got this going on. Next we're going to do is change size over life. Size by life, that's the one. So in here, we're going to tell it to change to start at 0 with a value of 111, and then at the end, which is what 1 means here in value, it means the end of it, lifespan. We're going to change its size to 0, 0, 0. You get this sort of effect. And what I might do is change the in value of this to be 0.3. Cool, okay. Next, we're going to go and rotate these. So let's go and go to rotation rate. And that'll get them spinning like so. That's looking alright. Okay. I can actually leave that as is, I think, the initial rotation rate. So next, we're going to change the lifetime of these. So a bit more of a punchy burst. So the minimum of this, we're going to go 0.5. And we'll do a maximum of 0.7. Okay. And I'm also going to make them go taller. So I'm going to change the Z here to 100 minus 100. We get that effect. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I'm making them a bit more red at the start. So on the color over life, if I change the in value to something higher, to like 0.5 for example, they'll be red for longer. Like so. You get sort of a fire effect. I quite like that. That's pretty good. Okay. So next job is we've got this skull. So let's work on the skull spawning and dropping into the world. Now I've already got a model of a skull that I made, like a little low poly skull. So I'm going to use that. And let's import that in. Well, let's see if I can find it first of all. So I think I actually put it in. Where did I put it? Skull. What's this one? And oh, that might do. It's a little low poly cartoony skull. That may do it. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to emit a single skull out as well. So on my emitters here, I'm going to right click an empty space and go new particle sprite emitter. Now this thing's going to emit a mesh, so we need to change it to a mesh type. So if you right click in here, you can see type data, and you would change it to new mesh data. Click on the mesh data module, you can now choose what module you want to spawn. So I'm going to spawn the skull. And we are then going to go and change. You should be able to see it. Let's solo it. So this S means you solo it, and you can see what you're doing. I think it might be just too big. Yeah, it is too big. So I need to change that. Is my skull off center? No, it's fine. Okay, so we need to change that, obviously. So we're going to let's just sort this out. So initial size, we can change that down to a constant. It could be 1, 1, 1. And you see all the meshes of the skulls popping up. Yeah. So where's the flames? Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to change the spawn rate for this down to 0. We just want it burst 1. Go to burst list. And we're going to add 1. And we'll leave it like that. So we've got initial velocity shoots it up. Then we want to change the acceleration of this. So it accelerates downwards. So on the Z, I'm going to change that to minus 100. And slowly tweak that number. Minus 1000. You get this effect. Cool. And let's give it a bit more pop. So initial velocity, will pop this up by another 200. Like that. Okay. We're also then going to give it a initial mesh rotation. And we'll only rotate it in the Y, is it? Actually, no, I don't like that too much. We'll go rotation rate. Yeah, it's slightly off center. I need to change that. The skull seems to be in the air too much. So we need to lower that. Yeah, the pivot is way too low. So I'm going to just transform that. Rather than open up Maya, and I can do that, I can translate this down. Let's go, it's just going to be guessing game now, so let's go minus 50. And re-import. Okay, that's a bit better. Let's see how that looks. That's cool. Okay, we'll keep that. Okay. Kim, yes, if you want to go up, just set it to positive number. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so this one I don't want to happen straight away. So this is where we have to time it all up. So first of all, it's only going to happen once. So we have to tell it to stop looping and only do it once. So this first one, I'm going to click on the top and go to required. And we're going to scroll down and find emitter loops. It says 0, change it to 1. And you see it doesn't do the flames anymore because it's just doing that. The skull still works because that is still looping. So we're going to go back to there, go to required, and change its loop to 1. Okay, off it goes. Next, we need to change it so this skull does not happen straight away. It happens a split second after the flames. So on the emitter delay, we can do a number of seconds we want to delay it. So I'm going to go 0.1, and this is just guessing. A bit more, 0.3. Oh, that might be it. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Tim, no, this is not video. This is live stream. We are working out in live stream, figuring it out as we go. Okay, so if I drag that into the world and see what that looks like. Just delete that and drag that out. It should, weird, it should be playing. Maybe it doesn't work with bursts. Oh, okay, let's do it so when these zombies die, we can make these, we get them dying with the particle system spawn. So I'm going to go edit zombie. And we're going to find where they end play. So I'm going to go end play. And we're going to spawn emitter at location. I'm going to spawn the zombie death. and the location is going to all come from the actor transform. We can split that and drag that in like so. Hit compile. Okay. So Kim, the setting of the emitter to 1 ensures it only spawns the particle system once. Now, once it detects it is completed, which you see on the thing here, it says completed. So when that happens, it means it will then destroy itself from the game. So you don't get too many particle effects happening. So only will happen once, don't we? So, right, anyway, let's go kill a zombie. Not too bad. I think the flames need to be a bit bigger and a bit punchier. Maybe the skull a little bit smaller. Okay, so let's tweak that. Particle system. Okay, let's change the size of the skull here from 1 to 0.6 and see how that looks. 0.6. We want this flame particle to be punchier, bigger, and better. So I'm going to change the size here from 100. We'll change that to what should we change to? We'll do 300, 300, 300, and we'll do 100 as a minimum for each of the different sizes there. We can actually tweak these a little bit and make them a bit more. No, we'll leave it like that. Okay. So once we've got this, let's go and do the velocity here. So I'm going to make these a bit punchier by going a bit further. So I'm going to go double it. 100, 100. That's 200. Minus 100, minus 100, minus 200. Save. Okay. Yeah, Kim, this text menu thing we did in the last one. Yes. Okay. Maybe a bit too big now. I think the skull needs to be a little bit bigger too. Okay. And we'll change the size of that to 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. Size here will go in between. So that was 100, wasn't it? So let's do 150, 150, 150. And we'll do 75, 75, 75. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. Cool. Alright, that's not looking too bad. So another thing we're going to do is do a scorch mark on the floor as well. Okay. So let's find a scorch mark graphic we can use. We'll nick this. But we're going to invert it. But yeah, we'll invert it. Actually, no, let's bring it into Unreal. That way I can show you how you deal with textures like this and what's wrong with it at the start. Okay, there's my scorch. Okay, so this scorch has an alpha channel on it, so that's why you got see-throughness of it. But you see the image is black. We don't want it black. We want it white. So we need to make a material out of this. And the first thing we need to do is flip it. And the way you flip a color is you do 1 minus. And that'll make it from black to white. That's the first thing. Next is we need to change it to use the alpha map channel. So we have to change it from opaque to translucent and drag our alpha channel over to opacity. And you should see now the scorch is looking more like what we would expect. There you go, you can see it just with the white there. Now the reason why we want white is because then we've got a bit more finesse and control over it in the particle color system. So speaking of which, let's add that to this. So we'll change that there to a particle color input and multiply this by the white coming out of it. Okay. And we also want the alpha to be multiplied by this as well. That way we can fade it out. Hit apply. And I think we're good. Okay, so let's go into our particle system again and let's add this to this. So I'm just going to change the background color of my particle system so I can see. Oh, hopefully you see the scorch mark a little bit better. So I need a new particle sprite emitter. On required, we're going to choose our scorch 1 map, which we've got here. And we're going to tell it to loop only once. And burst just the 1 as well. So I need to change the rate down to 0, just like we did with the skull. Add 1 to the burst. Like so. Alright. So now this thing's going to work very differently because it's going to spawn on the floor and just do that. Okay. Sorry, Kim's asking, why did we just do that? The white in color multiplied by 1 minus. So, okay, let's go back through this. So the texture sample here is black. Okay, the 1 minus will flip that to white. We want white because white in mathematical terms equals 1. Now the particle color is whatever color that comes from our particle system. So if we put in red, we want it to mimic red. Now red times black is basically 0, will give you 0, therefore you get black coming out of it. If it's 1 though, which is white, you get red coming out of it. So that's why we want it to be a white to work with our particle system color, because it's going to multiply it together. And we want to multiply it together because we want to use this input data to change the color of it to whatever we want. And the same applies to the alpha as well. We're multiplying by the alpha because we want to affect the whole entire thing and tell it to fade out using the input data from the particle system. Hopefully that makes a bit more sense. Okay, so this thing we're going to lock down. So at the moment it's spawning very small up here. So we need to change that. So let's go and first of all lock it to the floor. So lock something to the floor, you go to orientation and you add the lock axis module. We go on there and we're going to lock it to the, I think it's the Z axis. And we'll get velocity and turn that off by deleting it. And the size is going to be massive, so we need to make this a bit bigger. So let's go 1000. Oh, shows that's just constant. There we go. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Actually, let's just change 100. No, a bit too. Let's do that for 300. 300. Okay, so there's the effect happening. Okay, the lifetime for this is going to last a bit longer, so I want it to last for maybe 5 seconds. And you can see it then fade out. Yeah. So let's have a look at how this looks in game. So there's our effect there for the scorch mark, but for some reason, oh, because I haven't changed the colour of it, it's still white. So we need to change that from white. Also, it seems to be hovering in the air. So I need to tweak that a little bit as well. So let's lower that. So to do that, we're going to go, first of all, change the color. So the color we're going to change to we'll change to black and black. We still need color over life because we still want to use the alpha over life, which is part of it. So we still need that. Next, we're going to need to offset this down a little bit. So we're going to go on required and change the emitter origin for this to be lower. So on the Z, we're going to go minus 75. And again, this is going to involve just testing and tweaking until we get something that we like. Not too bad. Okay. Let's test that. Let's try a bit of the flames going down as well. So on the emitter for the flames, I'm going to add a slight acceleration to them as well. And we're accelerating by minus 100. Let's go a bit higher than that, minus 500. Okay. Next, we're going to go to the skull emitter, and we're going to do a collision for this. If I can remember how collision works on alpha on these things. Is it the other one? We'll see how that looks without me changing any settings. Okay. So. No, that didn't work, did it? Okay, I'm just clipping through the floor. First of all, does my skull actually have a collision mesh on it? Yes. Okay. Okay. Collision types. Yeah, well, static. Apply physics. No, not too sure. One collision. Let's hit up Google. Just put it up here so I can see a bit better. Have a look at this. Okay, let's let's tweak the collision in on here. So it was just why can't it be this one? appreciate maybe. Okay, okay, so I need to change this. Let's change this to let's go. No, let's do 1, 1, 1, and a minimum of 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Lifetime for this one actually increase as well to like 4. Save. Normally you can't test it, the collision in the particle window, because it has no collision in there. So you have to go out here and just test it out. No, still going through. No. To freeze the collisions rather than kill the mesh. There we go. Still spinning, we just have to take the sort of spinning. Oh, what? It works, kind of. If we can't, we're right about the skull bouncing off the floor. Okay, let's have a look what else we can do to improve the particle effect. If you have any suggestions of what you want to see the particle effect do, let's see if it does anything, make it look better. Maybe a bit of black, maybe. Let's have a look at that sprite sheet again, if I can find it. Okay. We maybe actually do a stream maybe on the skull. We'll go change that to a ribbon, and we'll put that with the gradient, and we'll attach it to our skull. Ooh. So the ribbon is hard to describe. It's basically allows you to attach a sort of streamer to something. So in here, I'm going to attach it to another particle emitter in here. Particle. And it should attach itself. I've got to change it from constant. Let's do 20. And then change it to loop only once. So it should go with it. Why is it not going with it? Skull, source strength. Yep. It does a little bit. Let's change the lifespan here to 5 and 5. No, it should go with it. Why are you not working? I hate streamers. Ribbons suck. So ribbons are useful for things like if you want to do like bullet trails and things like that. So you can do that with ribbons. It's this velocity that's messing it up. Oh, I can't remember now. I have to go to documentation. Bear with me. Ribbon source. You can. It's difficult to remember all of the stuff. You do have to go back to it now and then. Oh yeah, I know. I forgot. In here, we have to change it. Spawn per unit, and we still want that velocity in there. Okay. So do that. Spawn per unit. I forgot what you got to do for this. Hang on. Let's have a look at this example. And we need to change this constant value here. There we go. Bit closer to what we want it. So I'm just reading. Yeah, done that. Nah, that just looks shit. Let's get rid of that. That was a waste of time. Delete that. Okay. But I'm going to add a bit of black to our particle emitter here on the color. So I'm actually going to duplicate this. Like so. And on the duplication here, on the color, I'm going to change the color over here to black. Like so. And this to black too. Size, I'm going to tweak a little bit too. So initial size will go is 175, 175, 175. And we'll change that to 65, 65, 65. Okay, that looks a bit more varied. We've got a bit more stuff going on there. Okay, cool. Looks a bit like smoky. Chat back on. That's not bad. Okay. 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 Oh, hello. Hit the trampoline. Any other zombies to kill? No. Here's the exit. Do 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 do. It goes through. Okay. So what we got today done was the first particle in our system. For the zombie's death. The skull we could tweak a little bit better so it doesn't do stupid shit like that. But overall, not too bad. I quite like the scorch mark. Scorch mark sells it, I think, quite nicely. And it's crashed. Cool. Oh dear. Okay. So that's the first particle. There's going to be loads of particles involved in this whole entire series. Next one we probably need to do is for his gun, for his water gun. So it's not something shite that comes out. But we can definitely make something cool with more particle systems. Eventually, I need to get around to actually just modelling some zombies and other enemies as well. But I think what we'll do maybe next time is we'll sort out how to open doors and cupboards and all that to raid it for ammo. Because in the game, it's all like Dead Rising, where you go around collecting ammo from the houses. So that's something we need to look at doing. But I do need to make some art. Just I hate doing art. I'm not good at it. At least I don't think I'm any good at it. I'm getting better. I'm training. But I think that'll do it for tonight. Mostly because I am so tired. My little girl was up all night last night, so I haven't slept for 48 hours. I'm quite exhausted. Anywho's, don't forget to check out the link in the description for the Skillshare. If you sign up to Skillshare via the link in the description, you get 2 free months free trial. And in that free trial, you get access to my Making Your First Game in Unreal Engine 4. So you get that whole entire series right then and there. So you can watch the whole thing, and you can even cancel that subscription whenever you like. You're not tied down to anything at all. So check out that link, click on it, and sign up. And you can get access to the whole series right there then for free. No money exchange whatsoever. Thanks for joining us tonight. What's coming out this week? Well, we've got the continuation of the gamepad UI control system series, and you've also got your item inspection series happening as well on Fridays. On Monday, don't forget you've got the next episode as well for the Making Your First Game. Meanwhile, patrons can continue to expect to see the remainder of the ability system series. I'm going to try and get the rest of the series recorded this week, but we'll see how far we get on. I've got a lot of other things going on as well, so we'll see how that fares as well. Meanwhile, I'm also hopefully going to start recording the Melee AI Series 2 for the patrons, hopefully to get the first episode out this week as well. Thanks very much everyone for watching, and next weekend we are doing a case study. We're back to case studies, so if you've got your suggestions for what kind of game you want to see being played for the eventual tutorial on aspects of it, please let us know in the description below. or in the comments, and I look forward to hearing about what kind of games you want to see being played. I've got a list in my head of some things I want to try and do, but I'll be interested to see what you guys want to see as well. That'll do it for me. I'm going to hit the hay, so thanks very much for coming by and checking me out, and I'll see you all guys next weekend and all during the week. Thank you all, and good night.